Hello, everyone, and a good evening to all of you. My name is Israel Michael, and you're welcome to the LogTech 5 Days Free Online Bootcamp Training. And today is day 2 of the ethical hacking session. Now, before we go over to the class, I have a few things I would love to instruct us on for us to have a good flow of our training for this week. Now, there's going to be a project, okay, for every one of you that are following on this class, okay. On the fourth day, being Thursday, you're going to be given a project on ethical hacking based on what you've learned. And upon completion, okay, of that project, you'll be offered a certificate of participation, which can, of course, you can add it to your resume, you can add it to your LinkedIn profile, to rep and to boost your image as an ethical hacking enthusiast or as an upcoming ethical hacker or as a cybersecurity expert, whatever suits your fancy or whatever is the niche of your online presence. So we are going to post the classroom link right now on the comment section. So please do well to click on that link and join the Google Classroom for ethical hacking. And of course, by Thursday, we are going to post the project. And you're going to submit that project on Friday, and after which you'll be graded. And of course, you'll be offered your certificate. And mind you, this certificate, all right, is only offered to those who actually did the project. So you have to follow through this course even today. If you missed yesterday's episode, please do well to go back and as well go through the video so that you can be on the same page with the class. Don't forget, click on the Google Classroom link and join the Google Classroom. Of course, once there is a project, you will be notified on your email. Of course, I'm going to remind us again on Thursday, but please don't forget, the certificate is only available to those who have done their project, and this project is to be submitted in 24 hours after Thursday. That means on Friday you are going to submit your project. So you'll be giving a video on Thursday, and then on Friday, the last day, you submit your project. If you submit your project after Friday, you are not eligible to the certificate. So you are only going to have your certificate if you submitted it on Friday. All right. So we are going to go forth. And before I go on, I want to remind you, if you are just coming in for the first time, please do well to like, to share, to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and also drop a comment on the platform, on the comment section, that you can actually hear me, you can see me clearly, and let me know where you are watching from. Particularly, I would like to know the state or the city where you are connecting from. That is very important. Don't forget to like, to share, and to hit the notification bell. This would help us with the YouTube robots so that we can have more reach. Thank you very, very much. So today is ethical hacking day 2, and we are going over to our slide. So I have a few things to show you tonight. And going on, you have to please pay close attention. Today is the day, dun, 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 dun. Okay, so we're looking at practical reconnaissance and scanning in ethical hacking. Don't forget, yesterday we understood the ethical hacking methodologies, and there were 5 of them thereabouts, and we learned about reconnaissance being the first phase of ethical hacking. We learned about scanning being the second phase of ethical hacking. The third phase was to gain access. The fourth phase was to maintain access. And the fifth phase was to actually, give your reports, okay, your recommendation, your analysis, and all that. So today we are going to do the first thing you have to do when you want to carry out a hack, maybe a penetration testing, okay, something like that. So you have to learn how the tools work, how to use the tools, and also how this actual phase of gathering information works. Don't forget, you cannot actually defeat what you don't know. So if you want to break through someone's defense mechanism, you have to understand their security. It is very, very important. So going on, I have a few things here, then we'll go over to our practical, okay? Now, that reminds me, we're supposed to have a session where I would have shown you how to set up your machine for this task, but because of time, please go to our videos, all right, on this platform, and you will see that there's a video on how to set up your hacking lab. It's a video on our YouTube platform over here on this channel. So please refer to that video, and you would see how I taught on how to set up the machines, the required system you need to have, and all that. But for tonight, don't worry. If you don't have the required machines like the Kali, Linux, and the rest of them, don't worry about that. I'm going to guide you through a simple way you can do your stuff just for tonight. But listen, you may have some limitations, but don't worry. Like I said, if you refer to the video on this platform that is named How to Set Up Your Hacking Lab, all right? I think it's still on ethical hacking. So just go through the video and definitely you'll be good to go. So today, don't forget, we are still on reconnaissance and scanning in ethical hacking. So going on, over here, we are going to understand passive reconnaissance techniques. So in this phase of passive reconnaissance, you're going to understand how to gather valuable information without active scanning. All right. And you do this by analyzing domain details, identifying exposed data, and understanding technology. So here we build a comprehensive digital footprint of the target. Basically, almost everybody, in fact, there's a saying that says, the world today is a global village. Now, that has a consequence in ethical hacking, a consequence on the internet. If the world is not a global village, that means everybody, okay, somehow, if it's a village right now for the globe, that means somehow I can easily get across to you. I can easily know about you somehow. Why? Because everybody right now, or let's say almost everybody currently, has an online presence of some sort, and we call it digital footprinting. So in this case, when it comes to passive reconnaissance, which is the first phase of ethical hacking, here you gather every possible digital footprint of your target. And you're going to see how we are doing it today. You're going to see how to gather possible public information. Now, there are a lot of tools that we can use. I'm going to expose you to the myriad of tools, but I may not be able to go into all the tools individually. So I'm going to pick a couple of them for tonight, but definitely on your own. Or, of course, you can apply for the certified ethical hacker course at Logtech. All right, and you'll be good to go, of course. So going on, there are a couple of tools I'll be focusing on tonight for reconnaissance. And number one is a technique, actually, which is called Google Docs. Okay, so Google Docs is more like using operands for your Google search. Now, we also know it as Google hacking. When you use Google to gather some information. Now, the regular user of a simple browser would go on a browser, of course, go to the Google search and just type in a keyword and then scroll and look for what you're looking for. But you see, when it comes to the ethical hacker has a way he searches for things. So our search technique is not the same like the regular guy when he wants to carry out his or her search. So in this case today, you're going to learn how to use the Google search engine for ethical hacking. That's beautiful. And secondly, we're going to look at the ExploitDB insights. Now, ExploitDB is actually a database of what we refer to as known vulnerabilities. I'll say it again, known vulnerabilities. Don't forget, yesterday we understood that a vulnerability is a security flaw of a digital asset, something like that. So when over time, ethical hackers, they've always carried out pen tests on different protocols, on different systems, and they've discovered flaws and as good ethical hackers, they go over there to this ExploitDB, okay, and then they post their findings about certain vulnerabilities that they have discovered when they were carrying out a penetration test. So you now, as maybe a cybersecurity expert or you're an ethical hacker, you want to crack through something, you have to research. Let's say maybe, of course, in this class, you see what I'm talking about. Let's say you carry out a scan and then you saw an FTP protocol and you want to know if that FTP protocol is pregnable, if it is penetratable, okay, if it is breakable. Now, how do you ascertain if that version of FTP that you discover on a given device is breakable or not? You would have to come to somewhere like ExploitDB and carry out your research. So you simply type in the name of the protocol that you are trying to investigate, and then if you see that there is an exploit insight in ExploitDB, then you have a high chance of breaking through. Don't forget, you cannot hack what does not have a vulnerability. Vulnerability is the possibility for a hack. So you have to look for a weak point before you can actually break through. All right. So the next thing on our list here is the OSINT Framework. Now, the OSINT Framework, OSINT simply means open source intelligence. Like I said, reconnaissance is all about gathering intel, gathering intelligence. So in this case, all right, in this case, OSINT Framework is not a single tool, whereas it is more like a framework, okay, like a collection of tools. So it's an environment you come into, and then there are several tools that are in that environment, and then you can now use them to carry out your intelligence gathering or your information gathering. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to play with OSINT Framework. Although several tools in OSINT Framework are not free, but it's just a couple of dollars if you want to really use them. But don't worry, we are going to go into all that and I'll guide you all through. So going on, when it comes to reconnaissance, there are key discoveries. So through effective reconnaissance, we are able to uncover things like the domains, identify IP address, okay? We'll be able to review technology stack, discover known exploits, or you can say vulnerabilities. And these vital information, they lay the groundwork for further scanning and, like I said earlier on, potential exploitation phases. All right, so you cannot carry out an exploitation, I mean gain access, a penetration, unless you found a weakness, a vulnerability. And reconnaissance phase would give us that groundwork, okay, for further scanning and potential penetration. So next thing, after we are done with reconnaissance, we are going to go over to active discovery when it comes to scanning. So don't forget that in reconnaissance, you are doing passive discovery. You are gathering info that are just there on the internet. But when it comes to active discovery in scanning, this time you are gathering information that are more critical, okay? You are gathering critical insights for vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. So here, active scanning techniques, they allow ethical hackers to confirm the number of live hosts in a given network. That's number one. Number two, to identify open ports, all right, in these devices, because you cannot gain access until there is an opening somewhere. So if I find an open port on a given device, I have to also investigate that open port. Is it breakable? Even though it is open, you know, a door can be open, but there is no security watching the door. So I have to investigate, is that door lacking security? All right. So you seeing open ports does not mean vulnerability. You have to now investigate, is there any watchdog or policeman on that door? So if there's no policeman there, you can now quietly sneak in and do your thing. All right. Also, we can be able to detect running services. Like I said, it still relates to open ports, and these will help us to gather, like I said, critical insights. Okay. we will now know what and what is possible. We can now know if a device is hackable or not. So if you are an ethical hacker in an organization, this scanning phase is critical to your job, because here is where you carry out what we call vulnerability assessment, where you are checking for weakness and loopholes. You are looking if there is a known vulnerability here, or it is there, or it is here, or is it on the router, is it on the server, is it on the PCs in the company. All these things, you have to do an in-depth active scan to gather info about them. All right, so going on, next thing is that when it comes to active scanning, we are going to focus on a tool. Now, there are a lot of tools, but of course, this is just 5 days, so I'll only pick one tool, and that is called Nmap. So Nmap is an essential scanning tool, okay? It's a very powerful tool for ethical hackers that enables us to carry out different scans, such as host discovery, port scanning, and even service detection. Now, what I'm saying may sound like grammar, but when I go into the lab, you will see how powerful this is. So it also does OS fingerprinting. That means you can detect what kind of OS is a system using. Now, when you know the OS a given device is running on, you can now know the kind of payload, I mean, the kind of virus or Trojan that you're going to create, all right, for that device. Because every device has a particular kind of code that can break it. So you have to know the kind of device you are focusing on, you want to attack. If you don't know the kind of device you are looking at, you won't know the kind of tools you are going to use to break through. So you see how critical reconnaissance is. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. And don't forget, if you are just coming in now, if you haven't liked, if you haven't commented, if you haven't shared, please do so right now. You can share this link on WhatsApp, share this link on Facebook, get people to join in right now. Like and comment. Don't just stay and watch alone, okay? It's very, very important to help us to serve you better. Okay, so going on. I want us to get started, all right? And I'm going to share my full screen with you, and I'm going to my browser, all right? So I believe you can all see my screen. Can you all see my screen? I believe so. If you can see my screen, please do well to give the comment that you can see my screen and clearly. So right now, we're going to carry out what we call a reconnaissance, okay? So I'll show you several key steps to these things. So right now, I'm in my Google Chrome. As you can see, it's a simple browser, Google Chrome browser. And you have the URL bar. So what I have to do normally, let's say I want to gather info about, I want to know about, let's say, LogTech, okay? I want to know about LogTech as a company. I can just type, LogTech. And if I hit enter, I would see, several search results. That's the critical thing here. You will see several search results. So as you can see, the first result over here comes from the LogTech site, the LogTech website, www.logtechng.com. All right. But the second result comes from Facebook. So it is scattered. You see what I'm saying now? The fourth comes from LinkedIn. The other one comes from WHOIS, Instagram, LinkedIn, blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of scattered. Okay. So what if I want to only get my search results just from a specific site, just from LogTech site? So I can do it this way. I can say, okay, I want all info about LogTech to only come from just LogTech, LogTech site itself. I can simply just type in here site, and I can say colon, and I can put in logtechng.com. So right now, I'm only going to get my search results about LogTech from logtechng.com. No other source. Just I'm streaming my search to just logtechng.com. Hit enter. And as you can see, Right now, all the search results are just from logtech.ng.com, ng.com, 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 ng.com. So it's right now, it is streamlined. Now, what if I say, okay, Logtech, I want to know if they have a communication channel, if they have a mailing system, sort of. I can also put, let's say, mail, okay? Or let's say, I also want to know if they have maybe, let's call it a kind of a page on the site that has to do with contact us, something like that. I can say, okay, I can put in URL, another Google Doc. Don't forget that Google Docs, they are operands, okay? They are key operands that you can use to streamline your search. So if I say in URL, and I'll put colon, and let's say I can put in here contact us, and let's see whether there is anything as such. But because there's a space in contact us, I can just simply put everything in quotes, okay? Contact us, hit enter. And here I have a couple of things here, okay? Nothing like that. So I can try maybe, let's say, mail. Nothing like that. So now we know that, okay, on this site, there is no in URL as mail. But what if I put in courses? Let's say courses in the in URL. So here now we have, okay, on the Logtech web site, there is a page called courses, as you can see, courses. All right. So I'll be able to just pick out. So there are a lot of Google Docs that you can use actually, but right now I don't want to stay much on Google Docs because we don't have much time. But you can further on there are other Google Docs such as, let's say, for example, we have in title. Okay, you can play with in title later on. You can GPT it out, or you can check out file type. There's one called file type. You can check if there's a particular kind of document that is found. So if I say file, let's say I go to maybe, let me try bank, for example. I believe I'm not doing a bad thing. So stay on the good books, okay? So let's say, for example, my site is focused on UBA group, okay? .com, for example, sorry, ubagroup.com. And then I can give space, and then I can say file type, and then I can say PDF. So I can check out this site. As you can see, it gives me every PDF document on the ubagroup.com. So you can actually search for documents in a given site, or a particular type of document in a given site or in given sites using Google Docs, such as file type. Like I said, the goal here is to gather every possible information. Now, going on, another reconnaissance technique that we can actually use is called the WHOIS. There is a site called WHOIS, and WHOIS here can give you more info about an organization in terms of their domain name. So let's say I want to know about a company's domain name. I can just simply go to a site called WHOIS. So it's actually a lookup site. Pardon my traffic. Okay, so here we have whois.com. So I'll click on this and go into the site, and over here we have, you know, a search bar over here, at the top right. Okay, so I can just simply click over there and type in, let's say, domain name. Let's say I want to know about ubagroup.com, for instance. I want to know about their domain name, because right now what you can see right now is the domain name of the UBA site. All right, so I can just simply click on WHOIS, and it gives me the info about when their domain name was first gotten. That was in 2001. Okay, it was last updated last year on the October 9th. Okay, we can also see the registrar info, where they got their domain name from. They got it from GoDaddy. GoDaddy is a popular, you know, domain registrar. Also, we can check out logtech, for instance, logtechng.com, and we can see that these are all public information. So we can see logtechng.com was fully registered 2014, last updated last year, and we can see the registrar. Okay, name cheap. Okay, now this right now has given us info about a domain name. Now, why is it critical to check out the domain name or a company's domain name info? Is because sometimes these companies, okay, if there are critical things that you can look out for, all right, and you can see if there is a weakness and a possibility regarding their DNS. But in this case, I don't want to focus on DNS hacking and all that, okay? So we're going to focus on just what we have to do today. We have so much to do. Okay, so going on, another thing I mentioned was called the OSINT Framework. OSINT Framework is another reconnaissance tool that we can use. Like I said, that OSINT is not a tool like a singular tool. Instead, OSINT is actually more like a framework, okay, a collection of tools. So if I simply search for OSINT.com, sorry, OSINT Framework, actually, pardon me, that was wrong. So OSINT Framework. So OSINTFramework.com. And here we are. So this is the site. It's a very simple site, okay? But actually what you can see on your left-hand side is simply a categorization of tools. So you have usernames, you have email address, you have domain name, you have IP and MAC address. So let's say I want to, let's say, for example, let's say somebody sent me an email and I want to verify the sender of that mail. I can simply click on this email address section and I would see that there are different category of tools as well that can check, okay, if, you know, an email is valid, is sure or not. You get what I mean? Or I want to gather info about a particular email, I can check this out. I can click over here and see email search, and there are several of them here. Okay. Also, these are like real tools. Okay. Silver, identity discovery, that's them, hunter, email to address, blah blah blah. These are a lot of tools. The harvester, there are a lot of them. Also, you can check out maybe email verification category, and this actually tries to check, you know, more like the reputation of an email. For example, this tool here called email reputation. If I click on it, you can discover that it will take you to a site actually. So let me click on the email reputation, and you see a new tab opens, and this is an online tool. Okay, but right now I don't want to focus on this. Okay, so on your own, you can actually come in here and simply type in an actual email address, and then you can verify that email, maybe the person behind the email or the contact behind the email, such as that. Okay, but I think tools like this, most times they normally at some level you have to pay some money to have, you know, the premium package and all that. All right, so we are done with the OSINT framework. The next thing to do right now is to look at the ExploitDB, like I promised. Okay, ExploitDB. Now, what is ExploitDB? Don't forget, in our slide we discussed that ExploitDB is actually a cybersecurity or an ethical hackers site. Okay, it's more like a database of known vulnerabilities. So as you can see over here, it's a site. It says exploits for penetration testers, exploit database. All right. So if I click on the site to open up the environment, you can see that we have a search bar over here. Okay. The search bar. And so once you have, and as you can see over here, we have several known vulnerabilities that have been discovered from different systems. Example, this one came out last year, December, Christmas Day. Interesting. Somebody was hacking on Christmas Day. Anyway, that's fine. So Christmas Day, somebody discovered a vulnerability on Christmas Day of all days. Men are hustling. So we have the WordPress quiz maker. It's actually an SQL injection attack, and somebody discovered it on web applications, particularly for WordPress based kind of sites. Okay, so if you want to discover more about it, you can simply click on this and you can read through the info and the code that was used to actually break through that vulnerability or that weakness. Okay, but today is not a day to start reading through on your own. You can actually read by yourself. All right, so now I'm done with the reconnaissance. So now we're going over to scanning. All right, so now in scanning, what you are meant to do is to gather in-depth information, and that is my emphasis tonight. Don't go anywhere. Don't forget, leave a comment that you can hear me clearly, you can see me clearly, and also let me know if you are following. Okay, if you are following, please type in the comment section. If you are with me, be communicating with me there. And also, if you have a question, please do well to leave your questions there, and definitely we are going to attend to you. All right, so now looking at our scanning phase. So in the scanning phase, actually, what we're going to be using is called Nmap. Now, for those of you that are with your laptops, okay, you are going to follow me carefully. So we are going to install an application in our laptop, and it is called Nmap. So what is Nmap? Nmap simply means network mapper, like I showed you in the slide. It is used to gather in-depth information about a target device. For example, info such as, let's say the open ports in a given device, the running services that are there, OS detection, and even to discover the version of a protocol that is enabled on that device, and to check if the open ports that are there are vulnerable. Like I said, that a door can be open, but there's a security man guiding it. All right. So with Nmap, you can check if there is a security man guarding it, if that door is strong or if it is not strong. With Nmap, you can check to see, okay, I have open doors on this my site. And basically, those open doors are for communication. If you close them out, you can have communication. So you actually need them. But you see, those open doors must actually be secured. If not, the bad guys are going to come in as though they are legitimate, viewers or visitors, and then they make a mess with your infrastructure. So in this class today, with Nmap, we are going to go in depth on all those scanning techniques. So we are going to search for Nmap. So we'll go to Nmap. Nmap.com or .org rather. Okay, and when you come to nmap.org, this is a site, and you can see that they have a button here that says get Nmap 7.98 here, or download as well. So you simply click on it and the download begins. Now, when you are done downloading your Nmap, please listen carefully. You can always come back and watch this video. We don't have much time. Just follow me. So when you come back and you've already installed your Nmap, just a very, very simple installation step. Just double click on the file that's downloaded, and then be clicking on next and next and yes and next and next. Just be clicking next. Just be saying, oh yes, next, oh yes, next. And when you're done, you're going to have this application like this. All right, so pardon what you're seeing here. So, or maybe I can just simply open it afresh. So you're going to have it like this. If I say Nmap, hit enter, you can see I have my Nmap tool here. All right, so this is how the Nmap that you download in your Windows computer will look like. Now, by the way, Nmap has a GUI design. Nmap in a Kali machine is actually CLI based, okay? But when you install Nmap, all right, it will be installed at what we call ZenMap. Nmap is still ZenMap, but when you say ZenMap, you are saying Nmap with a user interface like I can see on my screen. but the raw Nmap is a command line based tool. All right, but for you, it will be very easy because you don't have to type as if you are a pro. Just simply, okay, you come in here, and once you are here, we have to understand how this interface works. So right now, very, very simple, straight to business. So first of all, if I want to discover more about a particular, let's say a particular stuff, let's say I want to know more about GT Bank, for example. Okay, let's try GT Bank. So now, very, very simple. We can look at over here, there's a field here called targets. All you have to do, okay, right, because right now we are trying to scan, digital infrastructures and check what is available in depth. All right. Okay, so I can simply say, okay, GT Bank. Now, by the way, I'm not hacking GT Bank, okay? I'm just doing a very simple scan. Nothing serious here, all right? So GT Bank, for example, .com. All right? Over here on the targets. Okay? And then when you come to profile over here, you can determine the actual kind of scan you want to do. So we have the intent scan. We have intent scan plus UDP. We have intent scan to scan all TCP ports. We have intent scan no ping. We have the ping scan. Now for starters, we're going to begin with the ping scan. All right, the ping scan. So I'll click on ping scan. Now, basically the ping scan usually works when you're just trying to discover if a device or if a network has live devices inside there. Okay, but right now GT Bank is basically a singular device, not really a range of devices. But let us do this SN and see what it gives to us. So I'll run the scan. So once you click on scan, okay, the scan begins. As you can see, it just sort of, okay, this device is active, okay, it's on. As you can see, it says one host up. And watch this. When we carried out the scan, we only know the domain name of GT Bank. But right now, we can see the IP of GT Bank over here. It shows you the Nmap scan report for GT Bank, and in bracket, it gave us the public IP address of GT Bank. That's powerful. Now, step one. Also, we can say, okay, we want to know the available ports on this GT Bank. How many ports are there? How many doors are open for communication? Now, don't forget, open ports, or let me use layman terms, open doors on a site, on a server, does not mean that is vulnerable, does not mean there's a security weakness. It just simply means that that particular device can communicate on this protocol and on that protocol. It's not a big deal, okay? But where the problem begins to come to play is when the protocol that is on a particular port, if that protocol is not up to date, it's outdated, that means there is a flaw, because the goal of updates is to improve or is to eradicate a weakness. So if a particular protocol is outdated, that means that protocol, of course, has a flaw. Okay, so over here in this command, we can actually type in our customized commands. All right, so we know that SN, okay, is a ping scan that simply tells you if a device is live or how many live devices are in a particular network. So right now we know that, okay, GT Bank is live and active. It is answering us ho-ha. So going on, we are going to discover all the available ports on gtbank.com. So I'll simply go over here and just simply change this argument from SN to capital P and a small n, which means probe scan. All right. The other one is simply a ping scan, okay? When you put a capital P and small n, we are now probing, trying to now get information more than just knowing if the device is alive. We want to now know, okay, this device now, what and what do you have? what and what is on you. Okay, how do you communicate? Where are your ears so I can talk to you? What are the open doors in this house? All right, so I'll simply nmap dash capital P and small n, and then I'll call in gtbank.com and I'll click on scan, and the scan has begun. Ta-da! It's going. Something huge is coming. Something huge. And my God, we are seeing a lot of information on GT Bank. GT Bank has plenty open doors. Oh, GT Bank is a house of doors, actually. So, and of course, it's a big company, and of course, they will have a lot of things for a lot of things. Okay, so all these open ports does not mean they are vulnerable. Don't forget. So you're not be thinking, see open door, we'll go break up. Calm down. Don't forget, we are ethical hackers. What are we again? Ethical hackers. Anything learned in this class is for educational purposes only. I'm putting a disclaimer now to be forewarned. To be forewarned, Abi. How did they put it? So now, if you look over here, where my cursor is, where I'm moving my cursor, you can see that we have a button here called host. And okay, so I clicked on service actually, and you can see all the services in alphabetical order. So for example, there's a service here. As you can see, we have port, we have state, and we have service. Okay, so now port simply means the port number or the door number. It's like a house or like a hotel. You have room 201, 206, 301, so on and so forth. All right. Now in this case, this is room 21. Okay, and the door to enter. Okay, you get what I mean now. So this is door 21. And that door is open. That means anybody can walk in. All right. It is open for communication. If you have the right authentication, you can come in. All right. And then we know the name of the protocol behind this FTP. All right. Now I can simply scroll down on this my left panel and look for that FTP. And it's over around here somewhere. Okay, here. If I click on the FTP, we can see more like more like a different kind of view. Okay, you can see the host name on one side, the port number on the other side, the protocol. It's a TCP protocol, like I said, an ethical like astronaut network. And I'm sorry, I may not be able to go through explain networking. It's a very broad discussion. Apply for the full course and you have the full gist. Okay. Yes, let's put the call across to us and you'll be fine. And so we have GT Bank and the IP, we have the port number, we have the protocol, and as you can see, it is open. Now, of course, I don't have permission from GT Bank to go further, so I'm going to stop here on this scan. We'll scan something else. All right, let me not cross the boundary before tomorrow. Yeah, that I've gone to Kiri or yeah. So I'm just stopping here in my scan. All right. So over next, I'm going to go to my Kali machine and I will carry out some other scan. So right now I have a server, okay, that I have permission to scan at will, anyhow I want to do it. Okay. So I'm going to show you more scans. I'm going to leave this environment. So don't forget that over here you type in commands. So you can be putting down every command I'm talking about. All right. As I go on, you can be writing them down. Don't forget that to discover all the open ports in a given device. What's the command? First thing is nmap, followed by space, and then dash capital P and small n, space, and then your target information. It could be the domain name or their IP address. In this case, we just typed in GTB, okay, .com, sort of. All right, so right now I'm going over to my Kali machine where I'll be doing command line, okay? So don't be scared about the environment. It's not a programming place, it's just commands, okay? Just that the tool is the same, just different interface. So right now, over to Kali. So right now I'm going to my Kali machine. And as you can see, I'm into my Kali machine, and over here, I'm going over to the command line of my Kali machine. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in so they can see very, very well. So right now, I'm in my Kali machine, and over here, I can still call up Nmap. First of all, let me check my IP, please. So my IP is 10026. Oops. So I'll just simply work on my IP, okay? So I'm not right now on a public network. So let me just quickly do that so that we can all be on the same page. Okay. All right, so if I say if config, and right now my IP is, of course, yes. So right now I am on the right network. So I can, first of all, I can use a command called ping. Ping is a command to, send hello packets over a network to check if there's a connectivity between device A and device B. So let's say I want to know if, I can reach. I can just simply say ping google.com. And my network has not come up yet, so just a moment. Let me refresh this. So I'll ping it again. Okay, one more thing. So I'm going to just put it back to NAT network and check my IP again. Just a moment. Let me just simply fix this up. Okay, good to go. So now I have another machine over here. In that machine is what I have control over. So I'm going to scan this machine and, as more like a punching bag to simply show you how to carry out real life punch. All right. So I don't want to scan GT Bank actually. We are ethical hackers. What are we again? You can type it there on the comment section. Say I'm an ethical hacker. So don't forget that one of the soft skills of an ethical hacker, you must have strong ethics. Okay. So you have to function by the books and by the books alone, so that you not end up in Kiri. It's very, very important. We are ethical hackers, not black hats. Okay, so I'm recalibrating my network and I think I'm good to go. And yes, I have my IP there. So I believe you can all see my machine. So right now, this machine over here, it's actually a server, okay? It's a real server, all right? And of course, by our next class, we're already out of time. By our next class by tomorrow, we're going to do a whole lot more, okay, in this segment. But before we go, I have one more thing to show you, okay, before we go. So from my Kali machine, I'm going to ping this guy. So let's confirm again. What is this, my guy's IP? This black machine IP, okay? Its IP is 10.0.2.7. So I'm going to, over here, I'm going to ping it. I will say, okay, ping 10.0.2.7. And yep, it's pinging, that's fine. So right now, what we'll do next is we are going to run the Nmap scan again, Nmap dash capital P and small n, and I will call up, the IP of my target machine, which is 10.0.2.7, the machine I have control over. And right now, it has scanned that machine and it has showed me all the open ports on this machine. As you can see, we were able to see FTP, okay, is open, SSH is open, Telnet is open, SMTP is for normal emails and all that, it's open. domain is open, all right, HTTP is open, so on and so forth. Okay, a whole lot is open on this guy. So another scan we can do is called the service detection scan. So I want to know this FTP, what is the version of the FTP? Because that is how you discover if an FTP is vulnerable or not. Stay with me carefully. Follow me carefully, please. So I will say nmap dash small s and capital V. Now, small s and capital V in nmap simply means service version. So if I want to know the version of a service, small s and then a capital V. So small s, capital V, then dash P, and then we're going to call up the port number of FTP. In this case, port number 21. Okay, so I would say 21, and my target IP is 10.0.2.7. Enter. And as you can see, we have the version of our port 21, VSFTPD 2.3.4. As an ethical hacker, when you've discovered a protocol's version, what do? You simply copy the version, and not forget, we mentioned a database called what? ExploitDB. So we are going to go over to ExploitDB right now. Okay, and we're going to check in ExploitDB, is VSFTPD 2.3.4 of FTP, is it vulnerable or not? So I'm going to open up the database over here and simply paste in VSFTPD 2.3.4, and whoa, we have a vulnerability here. It was first discovered in the year 2011. So as you can see that that FTP version is outdated since 2011, and this is the vulnerability information, and this is the code that can break it. So even in ethical hacking, you don't even have to be a programmer from scratch to begin to carry out your hack. So in our next class, we are going to now weaponize this information, which is the third phase of ethical hacking, which is now to gain access. So now we have seen a potential loophole. We are now going to launch to break through. So I want to say thank you very much, and we are going to come to a close here. Please do well to send me your questions. I want to get all of it. It's very, very important. And I want to say thank you for connecting. My name is Israel Michael, and this is the LogTech 5 Days Free Online Bootcamp. See you again tomorrow, 7 p.m. Good night.